Good morning, Professor. My name is Saldias, and today I'll be presenting about the case about the ABCU University. First, a bit of background. So the university has implemented an information system that gathers information about students and uses it to identify and classify them into three different categories: low, medium, and high risk. And the lecturers and other staff and the academic management have access to each student's label. The issues that this presented is that there's the concern about the use of the information that is being collected by the university, and the ethical, legal, and social concerns about the use of this information. And third, the introduction of an IS policy to prevent the development and implementation of the presented information system. Now, the assessment, after the assessment and structure, I will define some key concepts in terms of the overall course. I think it's very important. Then the presentation of the issue at hand for the specific case of ABCU, the importance and goal of the chosen policy, what I propose. Then there's the pest analysis, who is going to benefit from the policy, the barriers to it, and how to overcome these barriers, and finally the conclusion. So first, a few key concepts that need to be defined: data versus info. Data, the difference is that data could be, depending on what we're measuring, could be numbers, letters, quantities, temperature, etc. It's raw. Versus what this data represents. That's the information. Now, what are information systems, or IS? It's a group of interactive components that interact to achieve a purpose. It has 5 components. In this case, hardware would be the computer, the hard drive, storage disk, etc. Software, the software program that it's being used for this process. Data, it's the words, sentences, all the that it's going to be put into these documents. Then the procedures, the methods that are going to be used in this program. And then the people finally will be the staff that will be using it. Then a difference between IT and IS, which I also think it's important. It's methods, inventions, standards, and products. Basically, it's raw technology that IT, it's just a raw technology and information that pushes the development of IS. Now, so what is the issue? The issue is that because of the implementation of this policy and the algorithm, now the students feel discomfort. They feel that the university knows too much, that they're being under surveillance. There's no control over who has access to the information that is being collected from them. And some students might just not want their info entered into the system. Why it's important to solve? Because the students don't feel comfortable. So obviously this could create friction between them and their teachers or instructors or whoever represents or symbolizes authority in the university. If done properly, the relationship between students and ABCU will improve, because not many universities do this. So if they do it well, this could result in an improvement in the environment overall. Third, the confidentiality is very important because they don't, if there are labels, this could create discrimination and generate an ethical issue. And fourth, people in general will get concerned if they know that their data is being collected without their consent, especially because they don't know what the university wants with this. They don't know the intention behind it. What is the goal? So, in my opinion, there are two. The goal the first one will be to help students at risk. That's the main goal. Then the way that it's being conducted is not the best is not optimal. So then we have the second one would be the ultimate goal would be to improve the IS. And the way to improve this IS can be done by defining a policy. I chose a name for it. I call it the confidential data policy. So there's intent, scope, and this is why and how this policy will be used. Um, Password security, the requirements of these passwords, the characters, how they're going to recover them, etc. Then email security, safety protocols, similar with the password security, there has to be some protocols. And then devices security, only accessible from university computers, no cell phones, no tablets, etc. Then what is the value or benefit of the confidential data policy? So having a clear policy will improve the trust of the students if there are clear guidelines and they're specific and they make sense. Then second, the staff will know exactly what they have access to and in what context, preventing the misuse and abuse of this information. They will also feel more comfortable if they know why they're doing it, why the access to this info is available. Third, the goal of helping students at risk will be achieved in a safely and ethical manner, which is very important. That's what the university and the students want. And last, the leak of information or the probability of cyber attack will reduce this because they would only be using university computers. Then for the pest analysis, we have political. So they need to follow the Australian law, the privacy principles in the Privacy Act. This has been determined already. Then economic, because of COVID, the funds from the universities were reduced. A lot of people got lost their jobs as well. So there's not that many. They don't have the same budget as they used to have in 2019, and also because of this, the staff shortages in most industries, it could be hard to find someone to implement the policy. Then we have social. The economy, as we all know, has been hit. There's a fear of recession because of COVID and the war. So there would be, they will be more students at risk. This might create a system overload. People in general are more cautious about their information. We already know about Cambridge Analytica. That's why also iPhones now they have the option to stop being for the user to stop being tracked or share the information through some apps. Um, so this might have an impact in the data collection. The students might just say no to it. And then last, technological, implementing changes to the algorithm might be too difficult and expensive because they already have one. They might have to change everything. We don't know that. There might be the need of purchasing more computers, as we said that they will also be using computers, university computers. So that creates another expense. If there's a security breach, the university reputation obviously will be impacted and affected. So who benefits from this? ABCU obviously will be more efficient when allocating resources for their in order to help students. The students who really need help will benefit more. The university workers, because it will be easier, clearer, and safer ways to look for the info, and indirectly the students' parents, as they are the ones that are paying for their tuition in most cases. So if there's help coming from the university, I'll be great for them. Policy barriers. Not all students will agree to have their data collected, so it'll be impossible to implement. And the university might just not be interested in implementing the policy. It might be too expensive and it's just not a priority for them. Then the staff might not be tech savvy and they might be reluctant to change. This is something that happens very often. And moving away from the previous policy and updating it might also be very problematic. How to overcome these barriers? By creating a transparent method for students to find out the policy, what is it and what consists, so they're not afraid anymore. Finding the most cost efficient way to implement, so ABCU takes a real interest and makes it a priority. Listening to the staff, as I said, it's hard for them to implement change. They might not be good with technology, so it's really important for them to understand why. Bringing experts to create workshops as well might be good, might be an option. And before making any changes, it's really important to make a full examination, um, to evaluate what's the best course of action. So as per the conclusion of giving a clear definition of data, information, IS, the difference with IT, this shows, I think, a full understanding of the subject, definitions of the goals from the university and of the policy. The test analysis provided a full understanding of all the factors that could affect the proposed policy, gave a definition of policy benefits and who are the stakeholders who is being or could be affected by it, and barriers and solutions showed a clear path if ABCU wanted to implement procedures. Thank you very much. This has been my presentation. Thank you for your time.